Okay, hi all, welcome back. I'm keeping my voice down a bit as my daughter is sleeping in the next room. I hope you can hear me somewhat properly. I'm gonna do some quick digital sketches and just have some fun. I, by the way, do have a new laptop, so I'm hoping the recording won't cause that much trouble anymore. We'll see. First off, some male figure with a very nice gesture. Looking for, let's see, well, looking for the kind of line of action, pushing it all, and there's a nice twist. So if this is his torso, it's turned a bit towards us near the chest area, and then it's relatively sideways near the pelvis area, which I'm saying is about there, into the area for the leg, and then we see the nice stretched arm sticking out like this. The other one has a bit of a bend to it, and the neck is lunged very much forward, where I'm finding the head somewhat like this. Now the left leg is lifted up and eventually making contact with the right leg, with the foot entering about the knee, or touching about the knee level. So, I am seeing some abstract shape indication for the hands. So with gesture, it's always difficult to decide what to put in place and what to put down on the paper. Are you going for some simple shape or more of a line of action? Are you indicating some three-dimensional volumetric structure? That might be what you deem essential, critical to capturing the pose. But with this, I think I'm ready for kind of a secondary pass. And in the secondary pass, I obviously try to add a bit more volume and body to the limbs, and maybe already some hint of anatomy, like the calf muscle here, but also the deltoid muscle. And here we have the pectoral. Now, I'm definitely not an anatomy expert. I know enough to have an idea of the largest elements of the human body. But I do think it's a subject worthwhile studying, especially if you want to be prolific at invention, and especially if you want to invent like superheroes, etc. Well, there we have a nice initial gesture, I would say. I'm working with my favorite, well, kind of pencil brush tool. It feels very much like a soft ballpoint or a colored wax pencil. So once I have the overall shape, I can look for, these secondary shapes that indicate the individual gesture of the fingers. Maybe the pinky is separated a bit and the thumb is coming in front like this. Here we see the ball of the thumb rounding off into the wrist. And, well, I think I'm gonna leave it at this for this particular figure. I'll go ahead and look for another one. I'll make a new layer. Maybe I'll keep this somewhere. Oops. Why is it? It's a new version of Photoshop, so I'm really struggling to find the commands that I need. Well, this looks okay. Yeah, okay. I'll make a second layer and I'll quickly look for another reference photo. I see a nice one here. It's actually two men enacting some sort of dueling, swords dueling but hello, yeah, I'll keep it at just the one on the right. There's once again a very strong gesture. I see a very strong tilt in his shoulder line, and then an arching of the torso up straight into the leg, which is extending this movement. The other leg coming forward and then bearing the weight of his forward lunging body, something like this. I think I want to find the location of the head, which is somewhere over here. I'm trying to look for, or at least keep in mind, the proportions a bit already, but it's not set in stone. So, considering the length I have for the torso, I'm guesstimating the length I'm gonna need for the limbs and the size I'm gonna need for the head. Now this arm is swooping forward very much like this, and I like these kind of cross-sectional indications to show the position. The thumb is extended, and then we see some fingers wrapping around the grip of the sword, and maybe I'll introduce the sword just so that I have some indication for the other hand, which is doing something quite weird, but we can group the fingers together and look for the attachment of the wrist, and fairly quickly we'll find some indication of how the rest of the arm is coming into the torso, connected to the torso. I like this kind of pinching idea here. I am seeing more, or I am seeing a 3/4 view with a lot of the side of the torso as well as the front. I am looking now for some underwear shape here, and the rib cage, and indeed I'm thinking the size of the overall head might be a bit larger than I initially had planned, but that's okay. Okay, I'm getting into secondary, even tertiary level gesture and detail in here in the torso, while I'm still missing a lot of information in the leg. So let's drop down to the leg and find the necessary indication of well, here the foot, for example. So these kinds of cross-sectional lines also indicate the stance of the foot and the whole three-dimensionality of it. Fairly straight shin bone, and then we do see some bulge of the calf. Now in this case the calf muscle is very stretched out, unlike in this previous figure, so maybe I shouldn't overstate this bulge. That would happen when the muscle would tense up and flex. And there we go. Now this muscle is a little bit more tense. And we see the foot a bit less foreshortened. He's actually kind of resting on his toes. And I think it's worthwhile noticing that I'm not erasing too much or any at all, because I'm not yet concerned with a very clean, high quality level illustration. I'm more concerned with a quick study. I can bolster lines that I like where they are maybe a little bit obscured by some faulty lines or earlier searching lines. But other than that, there's no need for cleaning up this sketch and coming in with the eraser. Well, there we go. So if you've watched this channel before, you know I'm a great fan of this kind of tube-like indication of the parts of the body, especially the limbs, but also the torso, just to help me get a sense of the three-dimensional structure and how the limbs are behaving in space. Well, here we have the second gesture sketch. Let's go back to full screen mode again. Escape, view, full screen mode, and I'll make a new layer. And I'll have to start with a blank one and maybe do one or two more. We'll see. I'm coming in and looking for another reference photo. Okay, this one is a little bit more subdued. Oh, I also like this one. I'm not sure. Or a very compact one. Those are often a bit more difficult, at least for me. I have one here where the body is all curled up, and it's maybe a nice one to try. Okay, so I'm starting, I think, again with the line for the shoulders, which is not quite vertical, but, well, almost. And then I'm seeing a strong arch for the back, and into the pelvic area, buttocks area right here. He's a very athletic, muscular fellow, and I am seeing some middle line here for the chest area. Now, in here we'll find, I think, first and foremost, the clavicles, and then the neck with the head lunged downward. And again, I'm trying to just put down a simple shape. It's a side view for the head that captures the direction of the gaze downward. And I'm trying to already consider the size. And these are things you shouldn't be too fixated on when you're practicing first couple of times, the proportions, but also not too fixated on, at least I'm not too fixated on them when laying in the initial gestural sketch. Here it's more about the overall relationship of the parts of the body, the movement, the flows and lines of actions and shapes that capture something that I think is critical about the pose. Into the knee, which is close to the head, and we'll see great big swerve for the backside of the leg, and also quite a big bulge for the thigh part. The other arm is pushed down behind the leg. I'm still gonna try and draw it though. I'm gonna try and draw some sense of the hand. Again, looking a little bit for the size that I think I'm gonna need. And I think I underestimated once again the size of the head, but let's first come down with the rest of the leg. Kind of find the ankle bone and the foot is very flat. Then we have the other leg. Still gonna draw through a bit and we'll find, well, the location of the toes about here. And we'll see a very nice shape for the heel and underside of the foot, and come into the shin bone. Now, not much of this is visible, as it is obscured by the leg in front, but I still want to see if I can draw through, and now I can definitely increase the size of the head ever so slightly, looking for the ear. Which is usually a good indicator of the direction of the head. And, well, looking at the arms, for example, I can really start adding some mass and even look for some anatomical elaboration. The human machine is really a very intricate and awesome miracle of nature. So the way all these muscles are interlocking and overlaying the bone structure is really fascinating. You will see the pectorals. You see a lot of the serratus muscles here. I'll, well, I don't know, quickly jot down something. And some lines of creasing in the skin. And here the knee, patella. So really into the secondary and tertiary layers of information on top of all this gestural sketching. But even these layers of information I try to work in a very gestural sense. So I'm not stifling up, I'm still thinking about the flow and direction of the lines and shapes and volumes that I want to put down. Even here for something like this thumb, just to show you, I'm throwing down shapes that indicate the forms that I want. So it's really not a very zooming in, Control Z, erasing layer after layer type of approach for this rudimentary refinement. Not sure. It's much more of gesture sketching on a smaller scale. Okay. Well, I think I'll call this one finish again. Oh, I forgot one more. Well, two more things actually. But I'll show them in a second, or maybe I can do it now if I can find the button. Let's see. Window, actions, there we go. It's not working. Something is amiss. Okay, I'll see if I can quit this recording and save it, because something is not working with Photoshop. Okay, I'll be out and hopefully be back in a sec. Bye bye.